lot of articles. I wonder what they do for our internet.
My mom said it was hard. She said you had to look at a book of index.
Gross.
I know. Google Home invented periodical indexing.
Well, it says here, American librarian scholar William Frederick Poole effectively created periodical indexing.
It must have been revolutionary.
I'm Casey Helms.
I'm Michaela Campbell.
I'm Jose Morales.
And I'm Sierra Black.
And this is
William Frederick Poole and the Indexing Revolution.
It is 1842. Young William Frederick Poole is now a freshman at Yale College. Poole is older than most students because he was the son of a working-class family and he had dropped out of school at age 12, like most young men of his time, and he went to work. He worked at a jewelry store, a tannery, and on his family's farm.
Mother started urging me to go back to school. I worried that I'm not doing well, that I'd be much older than many of the other students. But still, I was only 16. So I went back to school for 3 years. And at the age of 20, I enrolled at Yale College. I was much older than many of the other students who had started college at age 14. I did well my first year, but I had no money to continue. So I went to work for 3 years, and at the age of 24, I was able to start school again. But I needed work. So I took the position as the assistant librarian for the Student Society, the Brothers of Union.
Casey, I found this book on William Frederick Poole. It says here that Yale had no organized athletics and students competed in forensic exercises such as oratory and debate for fun.
Really?
Educated men had to be able to speak in public so that they could be seen in the pulpit and in government.
Well, on Wednesday, students had heated debates on topics such as, was slavery wrong? Will the nation ever be totally free? And what should be done with the new Texas Republic? Topics were announced and students were on the way to finding information.
During Poole's first year, librarian John Edmonds published a short 8-page pamphlet listing some sources for debate titled Subjects for Debate with Reference to Authorities.
My main job was to provide help in finding materials for debate. We librarians continue keeping a file of the magazines and the topics we dealt with.
Mr. Poole, our debate topic. It has been released. It has Napoleon's exile to say how been just. I need articles to prove that it has been, and I need them very quickly.
Okay, give me a minute. This is not listed anywhere. This is so frustrating. I absolutely must organize these magazine articles by subject into an index. This just ought to be done.
You're so right, Mr. Poole. Even with the help of librarians such as yourself, we soon spend hours guessing which books and articles contain our desired information, and most times we're wrong.
I know. We spend so much time just carrying the periodicals from the shelf to the table and back to the shelf. They have been used, just proved.
And the library is only open for half an hour each day. Most of the time we go away, we're angry and disappointed.
The census standard periodicals, which the library is well supplied with, is not being used, although they are rich in the treatment of the subjects, which inquiries are made in every day.
The sheer number of magazines wasn't issued. Between 1825 and 1850, between 4,000 and 5,000 magazines were started, but only 600 survived.
Periodical publications have been advancing in merit until they have come in our day to stand in the front rank of modern literature, sometimes more useful to students than the professed treatise.
Poole's first attempt at indexing was a small 200-paragraph volume.
It's crude and feeble on the bibliographical side.
But Mr. Poole, it's the best thing we have right now. If only there was another copy. This one's going to wear out.
Soon the decision to print had been made. Poole then set out to expand and correct his manuscript. He had then tripled the size of his original index to 154 pages.
Mr. Poole, this index, it's so complete. It made researching exciting.
I'm afraid that I spent so much time with this index that my grades have suffered.
But you still have a high rank, and we students did vote for you in the Alpha Delta Phi. Our way of showing you how much we appreciate your hard work for our cause.
Well, a professor composed a modern Latin for me. He who knows where knowledge dwells has it within his reach. I'll put this on the title page of every edition.
This is a milestone, a revolution for research.
This index stored bibliography, which became one of the basic cornerstones of library service in the United States. The reaction was supportive. The whole 500 copies sold quickly. But Tom Poole graduated from Yale. He knew that he needed starting an index instead of finding a job.
I had problems. I left a note to the next edition on a buggy, and when I remembered it, they were nowhere to be found. But still, I worked on.
In 1851, Poole got a job as assistant librarian at the Boston Athenaeum Library. It was one of the best libraries in the country, and the patrons really appreciated his index.
It was during this time that I decided to be a librarian. I got married, and in 1853, I finished the second edition of the index, which had expanded to 524 pages. I was very busy, and I worried that I did not give my family enough time.
So, Mr. Poole, I hear Halsey Wilson, he plans to start his own index to drive yours out of the field.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
But he won't succeed. Look at the New York Times about the new index. It's really a very important book, and we can only imagine how he managed to without it. It's one of the indispensable of the student life. A contribution to literature, like an almanac, a directory, or a concordance. Mr. Poole's name can never be pronounced without respect.
But it isn't selling well. $6 is expensive.
It was expensive, and he never got the money he deserved. He worked on, it says here, to catalog books, managed a new library, and wrote a great deal. But Poole had not forgotten about the index. In 1863, in the middle of the Civil War, Poole announced he was starting a new index, but it never happened.
Finally, in 1876, Poole was approached by the American Library Association and persuaded to produce a new index with the assistance of William Fletcher, librarian of Amherst College, and the library community in North America and the United Kingdom.
Mr. Poole, your 2 volumes, 1883 edition of the index, was reviewed in Chambers Journal. What a wonderful review. A book which will henceforward be indispensable to every reference library to save a world of trouble to editors and journalists in hunting up what has already been written upon specific subjects.
Thank you, but I'm too busy to work with the next index.
Fletcher took over. This is about one of Poole's daughters. Poole sadly died in 1884.
I found this newspaper talking about Poole's obituary. It says here that he made librarianship a known profession.
And Wilson had, indeed, started his own index in 1901, The Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature.
When the final volume of Poole's index was released in 1908, it had covered subjects in 479 periodicals from the years 1802 to 1906.
But Poole's index of periodical literature was a revolution.
The published action was under gratitude.
It made Poole a bibliographical hero.
The reformed Wilson's Reader Guide, which was much user-friendly. We could not have prepared for History Fair without all the new indexes.
And another copycat, Google.
Poole's index is still used by researchers today. We used it, and it's even online.
Thank you.